Hello everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner. And it's time to do another brand battle from the collection. Working through my case with my popular brands. I got a lot of knives that I just only have one, maybe two. Seems like there's quite a few with like three. But, when you start getting into the fives and the sixes and above, you kind of see that you got a preference going on there. And I'm trying to go through my collection, and it's hard for me to do it quickly. So I'm kind of warming it up by going through smaller groups and doing a little battle at the same time. So if you haven't seen one of these, I'm gonna go through all the knives I have in one brand, and then I'm gonna try to decide which one I think is the favorite, at least at the moment. Sometimes there can be one that kind of shines in your head on one day and not another day. Now, it's unusual for me to have an empty table like this. What happened is I just went through my popular brand case and I gave it a little makeover. If you saw my other video about the new foam I picked up for my budget case, I still had a half thick one, and I actually dropped my case. These cases protect the knives and everything. You got the foam in there and all that, but I dropped it. It's a short drop, but it just messed up the foam, because the foam is kind of the weak point in those. I guess you want the foam to give rather than the knife, right? So anyway, I dropped it and it messed up the foam. So I did have a half thick piece, and I just kind of put my better foam piece underneath it and this on top, and it's working out really nice. There's the case right there, looking good. Because that foam is better, it ends up with more slots, so I end up having more room. Of course, that makes it heavier, but I guess my workout, right? Lifting up those cases, it keeps me from being too lazy. I have a tendency for that. So I ended up putting a couple more brands in here. I'm going to bounce it back. I did the Tucson's last time. I think I had like 7 of those or something like that. There's a lot of them. Now I'm going back to Kubey. Kubey is one that wasn't in the case previously. It had been in and out of the case before, but then as the collection changes and certain things, you start getting more knives of one brand, then you have to ship them around, right? At least for me, the way it all works in my head. So I got Kubeys, and I'm just going to grab them out of the case, because it's sitting right here, and I'll go through them one by one. And we're going to start here at the front of the line. This one I've had a long time ago. I remember when I first started collecting. I mean, I've always bought knives, always had knives, but there's a point where you're seeking them, and you want more and more and more, and you want that next one, and you want the next one, and the next one. I got a t-shirt from Blade HQ like that with a circle of knife or whatever, and it's like, you get the knife and this happens, and then it goes back to the beginning where you want the next one. And that's the way it started to get. And this is one of the earlier knives. I was getting smaller knives because I was just kind of getting used to the idea of carrying them every day, and whether or not I'm going to terrify all the neighbors and the children that walk down the street and things like that. But in reality, people don't really notice. I'm not. I do break them out, but I don't really break them out around people so much, just for that fact. But anyway, so this is the Kubey Chubby. Funny name. I like the name. And it's a good knife. I mean, it's one of these ones. I was just scrolling around Amazon for knives, and I really didn't know a lot about them. I didn't know about Kubey really. This is the first one I got from them. And I saw this one. It was nice and short, and it's under 3 inch for sure. I gotta try not to do too many specs, but yeah, like 2.5 inches blade, because the collection is going to be bigger and bigger for collection videos, so I gotta try to get used to that. Decent clip, good G10, got some grip to it, nice. Interesting features. You got access to the lock bar. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff when I bought this one. It's kind of that flipper tab kind of sticks out. No hole deployment, but I didn't know anything about hole deployment at the time. But it does stick out a little bit. So shorter knife, but still got some girth to it, right? It's got some contouring to the handle, which is nice. Got this little attention getter, which is also a lanyard spot if you want one. And yeah, nice tall flat blade, a little Tonto-ish. You know, it's got some belly to the front edge, but then there's a little Tonto tip there. And yeah, D2 blade. As you can see, I've had this one for years, probably 3-4 years, something like that. That's about the length of my real serious collecting. And I'm not seeing any, you know, in some brands I tend to see little dots from, and then others none. So I'm not seeing anything on here. So great knife. Let's put it to the side and get to the next one. So I'm gonna keep it moving. This is one that was kind of early, a little bit later than the Chubby, but man, I love this one. I just love this one. I mean, it's not the most expensive knife. It is D2. It's G10. Not super anything fancy about the materials, but the design and the shape and the action is superb for me. Superb. These clips work really well. I mean, you know, they're not that great to look at, but they certainly go in and out of the pocket well. Again, access to the liner lock, good lockup. I always felt like when I get this one out of the pocket, I can get it out real fast. As I was at the time getting used to the middle finger flick, and even since then, that's become my main way of opening a knife. Even can get it with a thumb, which is pretty impressive for me. So there's the KU122. It may have a name. Somebody had mentioned that it had a name, but I don't have it on record. It's not on the spreadsheet, so it doesn't exist in my life. Okay, moving on. We're getting more fancy. This is one that they had a version of this one. That was a big guy. It was a version of it that was just like the rest of the Kubeys. And now, is this D2? Let's see. 14C28N. Yeah, I was kind of noticing a little spot here. Maybe that's just something I can wipe off. But 14C28N, so a little more fancy steel, a little more premium. Nothing super fancy, but it does have titanium and micro milling. But the original version was more like these with the G10, I believe. But it was always been a big knife, and then they came out. They started kind of, yeah. This has like, yeah, it has the same symbol on it. This was still Kubey at the time. It says Kubey here, but yeah, they were starting to get a little more fancy. Titanium. Not sure if the clip's titanium. I'll find that out real quick. Let's see. Yeah, clip. Yeah, everything's titanium on this thing. Of course, other than the blade. But and it's got this nice light green. I'm a fan of green. It's been my favorite color for the longest time. Yeah, so great knife. That's the Kubey Tidius, however you want to call it. It's always been a little bit of a struggle figuring out the name of that knife and how to pronounce it. Moving on, to keep things moving, why don't we switch over to a couple of fixed blades. So, you know, the cases are for folders, and I have fixed blades over the side here, and I'll probably do a fixed blade. This may get doubled up because of that fixed blade collection. It's not the primary part of my collection, but I do like to carry fixed blades. It's kind of like flashlights. I do like to carry flashlights. They're very handy to have, but you know, the folders are really what just kind of obsesses me and just fills, you know, it lives rent-free in my head. The folder knives do. I don't know why that is. I do like fixed blades. Nothing wrong with them. This one is that one from KC at Knives Fast. Got the Tempest logo there, if you can see it. So this one is the, oh, and I really actually don't have it up on the list. Hang on a second, gotta pause. Okay, I got that fixed. Yeah, like I said, I don't keep these in the case, and I had only the ones that were in the case listed on my spreadsheet. I need assistance. You all know if you've been here long enough, and if you haven't been here long, you will find out that, yeah, my memory is not so great. All the information is in there. It's just doing it when I'm on camera and retaining it. This is the Dust Devil from Kubey. Nice thin, you know, top to bottom thin. What are we looking at? This blade is only, well, it's like not quite 7/8 Not quite. But yeah, definitely thin profile, but a great EDC fixed blade. That's what I've really been into carrying lately, is having little fixed blades. So I got a couple of them, a couple of Kubeys here that fit in that category. And one of the things that drew me to, I like to get the little fixed blades, and I'm more drawn to the ones that are like custom made type thing. Of course, those are more expensive, but I also like the ones that are made by people that I know, so that I can support them. And this is another one of those. This is the Kubey Bloom, and it's by Aries. And I got the lanyard. I've got this lanyard at Blade Show. Very cool little lanyard on there. This is a 3-finger for sure, whereas the Dust Devil 4-finger is fine. This one, you're not getting 4 on here. It's falling off the edge, but that lanyard really helps a lot. Let me zoom out a little bit here. But this is such a great shape. Nice, short little blade. This one's probably even closer to 2 inches. No, yeah. It's the blade itself is a 2.5. The edge is more like 2 3/8, 2 1/4. But anyway, nice little guy. I mean, when you carry him appendix, like I like to carry him, with the soft loops, just so easy to get and use and put away. I mean, it's even faster than a folder. Of course, you don't get to play with it. You don't get that action. That's probably part of what I really like about the folders more so than the fixies. And the Atlas. You remember this one? This was all the rage at one point. There was people talking about how this was like the knife of the year and all that. This one is, the steel on this was M390, I believe. The Atlas, no, S35, sorry. S35. This one could definitely use a little touch up on the edge. All my knives are users. I've been thinking about maybe selling some, and I see so many people that sell them, and they say, like new in box, never cut, never carried, or I cut a piece of paper. But I always carry my knives, and I use them. So you can always see there's like a little bit there. I just need to go through and clean up the edge. But otherwise, it's in perfect shape, So I have to reduce my prices a little bit because of that. I don't always have the boxes because, I'm starting to try to keep the boxes now. But in the past, yeah, I just didn't have room. So I'm working on that. Nice anodizing, again with the green, matching the Tidius a little bit. Little pops of color on that one. Kind of interesting, funky. I'm not as big on the cutouts in the frame. I do like Jerry Jelly. I mentioned that on the Tucson video. Backspacer is really cool. And then again, you have a lanyard hole. Big knife, plenty of room. Yeah, and you can choke up. I do like that choke up. If I can get a good choke up, even if it's just a trigger pull type, I do like it because I feel like I have a good grip. Ergo wise, I want something that my hand locks into. I've mentioned that quite a lot, but it means a lot to me. It's got this like jimping here, so it kind of helps there. This jimping on top, it's not going to cut into your fingers, but it definitely is giving you traction. Nice, fuller, great action with the middle finger. Can't do the thumb on this one, but that's not unusual for me. But middle finger is my go-to, and it does have a flipper tab that doesn't stick out as much as the KU122. Oh, no, sorry. I meant to say the Chubby. So you can see the difference, and this is what I was talking about. It's not really that big of a difference. And maybe it's just the ratio of the knife size to the flipper. That could be it. I mean, a lot of times it's just perception is really what it is. And then when you start trying to measure things or weigh things or whatever, this is a heavier knife. Definitely heavier. I can feel the extra weight in here. It is titanium. Perhaps there's not as much. There is stuff cut out there. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it, but it does feel heavier to me. But great knife. The Atlas. Had that one for a while. What's next and last is an interesting one. I remember back in the early days of my collecting, which, you know, doesn't go back that far. Sumo, the Sumo. Everybody was talking about the Sumo. Of course, at that time, it was the Hoback Sumo. And I guess there was a whole thing about, I don't guess, I know that there's a whole thing about them claiming to be all USA made and then finding out that things were made over in China. And then Kubey came out with this one, and people were saying, well, that's because Kubey actually did the original design and Hoback just kind of sold it to him or something. Yeah, some marks on that one too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really don't mind having marks on a knife. I don't need to keep it super clean. You know, it actually kind of makes it look like it's got more personality. This has a really good stonewash on it. This gray is very nice. And anyway, so I always thought, wow, I'd really like to get one of those. And then they came out with this one. It's not cheap. I mean, it's $216, but yeah, I mean, it's great action. People are saying, people that actually had the original say that it feels the same action-wise. Button lock, only button lock down here. All the rest are either fixed blades or liner lock, or frame lock here too. Frame lock, liner lock. And this one is a button lock. But it works really well, no stick at all. You can use that if you like to do that kind of thing. It's got these unusual looking thumb studs there, triangular shaped. Those, I think those work pretty well. I've always, I mean, I've had good experiences with them. See, that's the problem with smaller knives though. If it weren't for the whole Sumo thing, I might not have gotten this one, but the fuller works well. Yeah, because it's hard, when I'm flicking it, it's kind of a little harder to hold on to for me and my hands that aren't necessarily huge, but you know, I guess my fingers aren't super long and thin or anything like that. I don't know what it is, but yeah, great knife. So I really don't know where this is going. We got all these knives here. I don't know which one's my favorite. I really don't. It may surprise me or you. I decided I'm going to throw in some cut tests. I got this old Spyderco catalog for 2022, and I got a 2023, 2024, and now a 2025, and I still got tons of paper in this one here. Look how thick that thing is. I mean, you can see I've cut with a bunch of it, but Spyderco's got so many knives, so maybe I have to start doing more cuts. I just want to do some cut tests with these. Some of these have been around for a while and may not be kept up on the sharpness. Tip on that one, I knew this one's probably, because it is chubby, so it's a little thicker behind the edge, but it still cuts pretty well. This is definitely not my favorite. I have sentimental feelings for it, but it's not going to be number one, that's for sure. Let's go on. Fixed blades. Let's see how they cut. Ooh, yeah. Now, I know for a fact, because of what I said earlier in the video, not going to be my favorite because it's a fixed blade. So I'm going to put that up. And same thing with the Bloom. Cuts really, really well. The good cutter. Very, very good cutter. But the fixed blades just don't vibe with me quite as much. Okay, so we're narrowing it down. I think this one's smaller. You know, it's funny that it's about the same size as the KU122. But I'm saying right now, we'll cut with it and see how it does. Ooh, God, that went right through. That has got some edge on it. Woo! Dang. This is probably one I haven't carried as much. And that may have, but you can see it has been used. But man, that cut well. Dang, that is just, ooh. It's nice to be surprised sometimes. Once it starts cutting, it's like you hardly even feel it going through the paper. That's impressive. But still, it's going to the side. These three. Yeah. I think I'm gonna, the next one to drop is gonna be the Tidius, or the Tidius, or whatever you want to call it. It cuts really well too. Wow, that's got a nice cut to it as well. And I do like the premium on it. It kind of feels like a knife that's a good worker knife. I mean, excellent worker knife. But it's dressed up, and it really almost doesn't work a little bit. You know? It's almost like it doesn't quite make sense to make it fancy. It does look good, and it's not that I don't like the knife, but I think that's the reason why it's dropping off the list right now. These two, man, it's just, this is a great knife. Oh yeah. And Kubey's got some great edges, man. Oh my gosh. They really do very well. Cherry jelly. I mean, the big ones. Let's see how this... Now, this one may be carried more than anything, more than any of these ones out here. And you can see the edge is not quite as keen. But still good. And I'm sure I could strop it up. Yeah. I like the shape. It is small. Materials. Okay, I mean, this is a tight one, guys. This is maybe one of the tightest ones yet. But I think the KU122 is going to go to the side, and I think it's going to be the Atlas for me. The Atlas from Kubey. Just great in the hand. Great big worker. Man, that edge, I am just shocked. Woo, look at that thing go. For a big old knife like this, I mean, look how thick it is up here. Thick, but it comes out tall flat. Man, this is such a good knife. This one is 160s. Got it on Amazon. Yeah, I'm going to do a video one of these days talking about cutting because there's something about it. And that's part of the reason why I like to carry my knives, because I like cutting with knives. I like to have a real excuse to use them, but sometimes I'll just do stuff so I can cut. I got to give this thing some TLC since it is #1. That's the winner. The winner of the Kubey brand battle. All of these are awesome knives. I cannot complain about any of them. I've always had a lot of respect for Kubey as a brand. They're not necessarily premium, but they got a good mix. KBs. I mean, this one is a KB. The Sumo. Oops, it's out of the screen. We have to back up a little bit and drop this down. Now we can see it. Okay, sorry if I'm shaking the camera. So I think, yeah, this is the first KB that I've had, and I know people have been showing them and saying the KBs are really good blades. I think I need to get more of those for sure. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's the battle. Hope you guys having a good weekend. Saturday for me, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.